Yeah, I don't know how this works. Okay. It's showing the screen?
Yeah. There you go.
Oh, we're live. Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
You see how much delay though?
It's a lot of delay, yeah. Okie dokie. So, let's go ahead and start our video here. Oh, hi guys. I cannot see your comments, unfortunately, but I'm gonna have my little elves. Oh, Tower of Brilliance. Hello. Awesome. Okay, I do see that. All right, very cool. Thank you. So I guess we're live. There's no video yet. Okay, gotcha. Is it just dark? Is it just black screen, or can you see my screen? Okay, so let me share. Let me do my best to share that. And okay. There's no sound.
No sound, no video. Only your screen is shared.
Only the screen share. There's no sound and no video. Great.
Now the sound.
All right. So guys, we'll have to do without video. I apologize. I can't get the video going for whatever reason. So there we go. All right. So final test before I get started. Can everybody hear me okay? Whoever is here? All right. So I promise I'll find a better streaming software or something that works. I'm using Melon software now and can't seem to get it going right. But anyhow, I'll work on that. And just to get started here, I got, since I made the announcement that we're doing this live stream, I got about, I don't know, well over a dozen requests. I can't do all of them, but I will do some of them live. So what that means is I'll be doing more of these instead of just once every Friday. I'll try to do one on Fridays and Tuesdays. Let's see if you can guess why Tuesday. Whoever gets a guess can, I don't know. If I haven't done your chart, I'll do your compatibility. So put that in the chat if you can guess why Tuesday would be the other day. But then we may have to go to 3 days a week. So it might be Friday, Tuesday, Wednesday, something like that. So I promise everyone who's written me, I will try to get you in. And with that said, let's get started. So let me find the screen we're sharing here and we can get moving. Where is my Delano screen? Okay. So I've received a lot of questions and amazing questions. One question is, how do you do compatibility if I know my time of birth, but my husband doesn't know his time of birth, or my wife doesn't know their time of birth. It is possible to do good enough compatibility if one of you has a birth time. But if both of you do not have your birth time, then it becomes impossible. It's basically you're better off just not even messing around, because there's so many variables that can be off. So you're better off getting your chart rectified, finding out your correct birth time by doing some research, going online, going to the hospital, whatever it is. Okay. So, so it is possible to do it. Now, what you would do if you don't have a correct birth time is you don't want to focus on the ascendants. You would look at everything that is not ascendant based, you would just ignore, and you would look at everything that is not ascendant based. So Jupiter, Moon, Jupiter, Venus, that's all going to be the same if you have the correct birth day. If you don't have the correct birth time for one person, but oops. So, but it becomes tricky, and unfortunately, I did have a couple send in their time, but then they later said they preferred not to share it. So I'm going to honor that. Where one partner did not have their birth time, and it was a very actually interesting compatibility. So we're going to get started with the first couple who wrote in. And are you guys here, by the way? Just checking in on the chat. Okay, not sure. No, okay. So this is the chart. This is a very interesting combination. Now, let me look at one thing. I want to see. Am I sharing right now, by the way? I just want to keep the people's info private. Okay, thank you. Yeah. Okay, I'm just going through my comments here because I wanted to read. All right. All right. So this was a couple who got close, but well, let's see. I'm not going to tell you. But all I have is one sentence. And let me go ahead and share the screen back so that you can see. All right. So the way I do compatibility is I look for things that look extraordinary, things that pop out at me. And so for this couple, I just said, look, I'm going to do the ancient methods first. And when I look at the ancient methods, each method, each individual method stands for something. For example, Vashya is the amount of obedience or devotion one partner has for the other. And it's always good for the man to have Vashya for the woman. Stri Dirgha is the respect within the relationship, how much respect the man gives to the woman. And of course, for same-sex relationship, mutual respect. And meaning, this comes, by the way, from our patriarchal societies, right? Old-timey societies where women had fewer rights. And so it was very important for the man to respect the woman, meaning that she could go out of the house. She could have a job, work on her own, do her own thing. In modern times, it also means similar things where people share duties. Maybe the man stays at home, takes care of the kids, or whatever it is. There's more of an equitable kind of experience. Dina is the health. And then Yoni relates to sexuality. And immediately, the first thing that struck my eye was this. Then in one category we have the highest possible points, and in the other we have 0 points, meaning from the ascendants. So I don't know if this relationship was ever consummated, but it suggests that there, although there would be deeply emotional fulfillment from the sexual experience, there would be tremendous obstacles to it ever happening, because the ascendant represents the physical circumstances. So there may be a lot of physical obstacles or surface problems, but there would be a deep connection if this became a physical relationship. However, we also have 0 on the Nadi scale. So the Kutas are okay. I don't like that the Lugna score is low. So already we have some issues here. I like to see over 20 points on average. And let me just take a look here. Another measurement that I like to look at is what I call intensity balance. Most people call it Kuja dosha, the blemish of Mars, but it's the blemish balance between two people. And here it's on the relatively high side. It's not super high, but this is also a potential issue. Okay. All right. So then modern methods look pretty high. Core connection is average, nothing to write home about. But hidden strengths is very good. So this suggests a friendship, if nothing else. Soulmate indicator is high, but then karmic glue is nothing. Very, very low. So this suggests a relationship that may come and then just go, because you need some karmic glue to make relationships stick. So if you have low karmic glue and relatively low ancient methods, although here they're not like super low, but they're below 20, this is not probably a lifelong kind of relationship, even though there is enough here to keep these people together for some time. There are good soul connections. I don't know. There's just not enough juice here, and so in fact, I believe this was a people who came together. I don't know if it was even consummated, but then they split up. So even though there's a very high score here, 37, you could see is in the very good range, it is possible to have a high score with someone and still nothing happens, because we have to take everything into account. All right. Any questions on this? Okay. I don't want to belabor the point here, but then we can move on. So that was starting with the ancient methods. Let's take a look at another chart then. Here we go. All right, we're going to go back to home. And let's put in... All right, so here's an interesting relationship with a lower total score, but let's take a walk through this one. And the first thing, again, I like to look at stuff that stands out. And the first thing that pops up is, wow, an amazing, powerful moon score. Now, there's no key here for how high a score can be. A 10 is, I think, the maximum for any one of these, except the Lugna Lord, which the max, I think, is 4, plus 4 and minus 4. No, sorry, it's 6, plus 6 to minus 6. This is plus 10 to minus 10. So literally the maximum possible moon score. Wow. That suggests, and by the way, you can also see why this is happening, because person A's moon is in Libra at 6 degrees, person B's moon is in Libra at 12 degrees. So they have the same moon within 6 degrees of each other. Okay, so that's why that score is so high. So good from Moon, good from Venus. That's a great start to a romantic relationship. Hidden strengths and weaknesses are a little bit on the weak side, and mostly one-sided from the man to the woman. Then from the woman to the man, we have some Saturn Sun going on. So there's definitely a fair bit of harsh criticism here from the particularly, well, it's a little bit on both sides, isn't it? This is from the male to the female. This is from the, sorry, from the female to the male, and this is from the male to the female. Let's see what else we got going on here. Moon Venus. This is what we call a true love combo. Moon Venus together. Let's take a look at it in the actual chart. So one person's moon is in Libra, the other person's Venus is in Aries. So they're opposite each other here. And then this one is in Leo, this one's in Libra. So these don't have a direct connection, they're sextile. But Moon Venus opposite is nice. It gives that kind of those warm cuddlies where you can be a fool around somebody and you just let yourself go. You let yourself be silly, cuddly in public, you know, that kind of thing. But even with that, soulmate is very low, actually. That's the only combo that really comes in. So far, nothing exciting. Again, low karmic glue. So these people are going to have reasons to drift apart. And a high danger meter. So the modern methods are a little conflicted. This is very good. Who am I to you? What we want to see is high points in the 1st and the 7th house. We see most of the points in other houses. Yeah, so this one I'm a little split on. I do like the high Who Am I To You score. That's very cool. But these people are going to need their own space. So we have some high danger meter, low karmic glue, which means taking a vacation from each other from time to time. I don't know if this is really helping. Here we go. We have very high ancient methods. So this is good. This is good. Okay, so this couple can actually stick together. Let me see if I have any comments about this. If you have any questions, just put them in the chat. I'll try to take a look. I'm gonna stop my share real quick and see if I have comments about this chart in particular. I may not. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, guys, sorry this is a little kind of weird and boring today. I can't get my camera going, but we'll just try to battle through and do it better next time, hopefully. Yeah, I don't think I can find the comments on this one, unfortunately. All right, well, yeah, so I think this one is a situation of people who met each other, but perhaps it didn't work out. Now, they do have a good ancient method score, suggesting there is something there, but the modern methods, there's not enough. See, karmic glue is weird. You want some karmic glue to make things exciting. There's none here. This is very low, like the previous one. You also want soulmate indicators. So there's not enough chemistry, I think, here, even though, and also there's quite a bit of Saturn. So probably the man is going to want his own space because there's a fair bit of Saturn coming from him. But also from the woman. She's got her Saturn and hers. So I'm going to say this is like, I don't know. It's not a wow combination. And for that reason, you can see the score is in the poor range, even though the ancient method is good. There's something there, but I would say next lifetime. Okay, next lifetime for these two. And I don't think these two are together. So interestingly, you guys sent me some times of people who are broken up. All right. So yeah, so that's a no. Now I'm going to do one more, and then we'll see what we do. Now this is pretty crazy combo here. Very interesting, crazy combination. So stay tuned. All right. Oh, let me share the screen. That's right. Share the screen. Boom, 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 boom. Screen. Dun, 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 dun. All right. Here we have a couple. Bum, 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 bum. Let me see if I could turn on my video again. Your video has been enabled, but it's not working. Okay. I tried. Okay. Never mind. All right. So here is a very interesting couple. I know nothing. I know they're a couple, but that's it. And I got an email that said, hey, look at this. Tell me what you think. And so I'm going to do that. This what happens when you have too many screens open. Sorry, guys. I'm still looking for my screen. Yikes. Oh, I think I deleted it. Great. All right. Can you guys see my screen? Can you guys see the screen, or am I still live? No screen yet? Okay. All right. How about now? Is this good? Am I sharing? All right. Now, this is a crazy combo. So we have two folks who have come together. First of all, we've got more deal makers and deal breakers. Great start. Total score, that's pretty high. It says here in the average range, but look, that's more than good enough. So let's keep going. I want to peek into the ancient methods. Ooh, interesting. Okay, I'll come back to them. So having more deal makers and deal breakers is a great start. I don't like what I see in the danger meter here, so we'll check it out. All right, let's go to the core connection. Core connection is how you get along on a day-to-day level. If someone breaks a dish, are you going to freak out and get into arguments, or are you going to be like, okay, sweep it up, and then it's done, right? It's your ability to navigate the day-to-day relationship stuff. You can still have a low core connection and be happily married. You just won't have all the skills that a couple who has a high core connection has. And so there may be, some more issues there. But again, so the core connection here is average. Anything between -2 points to 4 points total is average. Why is it? Well, on the ascendant front, they have very different habits. He likes to put his feet up. She hates it.
They've been together for 24 years.
Okay, so I just got a little piece of good info. So this couple has been together for a very long time, but still, I don't care. I'm going to read their compatibility, which, like I said, I like it. So to start off, but there are some issues. So let's get into it. Very different habits. They're different people. Their lugnas are -6. Okay, so that's one thing. However, their suns are strong, their moons are strong. So here's what happens. People with negative lugna score are like, okay, he puts his feet up or throws his socks somewhere and she doesn't like it. But if they have a good moon score, she gets that he does it because he's tired and his feet hurt. So in her mind, even though it's part of her wants to say, hey, stop doing that, she understands, because having a good moon score means you get the other person, like you feel them. And so even though on the habit level you may not get along, on the emotional level you do. And so the moon is actually more important for most relationships, unless you're very superficial people. Having the sun is good, but the sun is the least important factor. It just means that philosophically you kind of align, you get along. And the Venuses, there are some issues here with the Venuses, and this is like one of those Super Bowl games. It kind of starts out pretty predictable, and then it just goes into one crazy direction. So the Venuses are negative. We'll follow back on this. We'll come back to it. So let's keep going here. Now, we do see a lot of Jupiter, mutual Jupiter moon, which is very nice. So his Jupiter hits her moon, her Jupiter. So these people can, even if they get into arguments, they can emotionally, again, put themselves in the other person's shoes. Maybe not in the heat of the argument, but at least afterwards. So they get each other emotionally. Jupiter Sun is good. This is the true friends combination. Jupiter Lagna is good, which means he's going to try to make her feel better and so forth, encourage her physically and so forth. So this is good. There's a lot of Jupiter. There's also some Saturn. In fact, there's a lot of Saturn Sun. Now, this is one of what we call the danger combos, because it creates the desire for one or both, in this case, probably both of the couple to spend, to do their own thing. Him to go do his own hobby, her to go do her own hobby, spend time apart, basically. So we have both. And they do balance out, though, because if you just had the Saturn and not the Jupiter, it might be a little too much. Then you'd be spending more and more time apart rather than just an afternoon or, and so forth. So again, this is inconclusive when it comes to determining, are these people going to be together or not? As really is the core connection. So let's keep going. We're going to keep looking for clues. Soulmate indicator. All right, now here, the term soulmate indicator comes from sun-moon connection. Carl Jung, I believe, came up with this idea that the sun and the moon, when they are connected, is the people often will get married. He did research on this, in fact. And let's see exactly what that combination looks like. So her sun is in Virgo, his moon is in Capricorn. They are in a trine, but so that's not what we're looking at. What we're looking at is that her moon is in Pisces and his sun is in Pisces. And look at how close they are, folks. This is the number one soulmate combo. In fact, that's where the category comes from, is this conjunction, which this couple has. So now I'm starting to lean towards this score is actually meaningful and strong, 26. Remember before I said, look, it's in the average range, but that's the 100,000-foot view. If you dive in and look at what's really happening, you can get detail. It's like Google Maps. You see the earth, but you don't see that little bug on the blade of grass in your backyard. So this is kind of what we're doing here. So sun, moon, this is the classic soulmate combo, which gets a nice 7 points. What else do they have? Sun, Mars. Sun, Mars is only one way. We count it when the man's when the man's sun connects to the woman's Mars. This creates primal charisma attraction. So when she saw him, she felt chemically that he was like the archetype of her macho man, manly man. Now, but not to the max. See, the max here is like 5 points. So yeah, you're pretty. Yeah, I like you. You're sexy. You're not the sexiest guy in the world, though. You're not like a movie star, but there's definitely something, right? So this combo is also very important. The Sun, Mars. when it's the man's sun to the woman's Mars. So we have two interesting combos. Sun Moon, which is, by the way, Sun Moon, just because you have Sun Moon, that again, parents and children often have this, teachers, students often have this. Like, if a teacher impacts you in a significant way, it's people who potentially could have an impact on your life should you choose to be together. Sun Moon creates those kinds of impactful soulmate combos, but again, they don't have to be romantic. So if you got soulmate combo with your brother or sister, it means just that they're in your life and they're going to impact your life. Okay. How will they impact your life? Well, you got to look at the rest of it. Will it be positive? Well, yeah, look, 3 deal makers, high score. For the most part, yes. But also, we can't ignore this stuff. So we'll come back to that. All right, let's keep going. We got Sun Moon. We got Sun Mars. What else stands out here? Ooh, wee. Moon Mars. All right. Moon Mars, especially the conjunction, and I don't know if this is the conjunction or not. Okay, this is a little secret here, sharing. Especially the conjunction is very powerful. So her Mars is in Cancer, his moon. So no, this is the opposition. But look at how tight it is. 29 degrees Cancer, 29 degrees Capricorn. So they have an exact Moon Mars opposition. Now, this is extremely spicy. Okay. Now, spicy food is very exciting. So that's why I said this is a very interesting match here. They have Moon Mars. Moon Mars, you will find in lifelong married couples. We don't know why. It's just been researched. More so the conjunction, but also the opposition, especially with other combos like the Sun Moon, and we're in business. So this suggests to me that there will be enough passion in the relationship for both of them, even though they're not, you bug me, but I guess I'll keep you around. Or, but you also make me feel good, right? So this is, Moon Mars combos are spicy. So there's going to be some broken dishes perhaps, but especially with enough Jupiter, people will reconciliate. All right. So we like to see that. So that gets a big 7.5 points. And that's about it for soulmate. So the score is 18. It's in the decent range, but with two strong combos, Sun Moon and Moon Mars, and then the Sun Mars as an kind of middle of the road strength gives it some extra spice. All right. Karmic glue is on the surface, nothing exciting, 36 points. But if you look deeper than the surface, again, we see something that is extremely compelling. And I'm going to share it with you. In sharing this, by the way, this is why I'm doing these live streams, because I could teach these principles and they'd make for nice YouTube classes, videos or whatever. But when you see them alive in people's charts, I don't know this couple. Okay. I don't know these people. They just sent me their birth time and they said, we'll fill in the details for you after your thing. Okay. But check this out. Her Pluto is connected to his Venus. That is a combo for intense sexual attraction, which would be more from the man to the woman, because her Pluto is the controller, the one who tends to have the power. Now, it could be reversed, and it's often plays out mutually. But traditionally speaking, her Pluto is influencing his Venus. And that by itself is nice. It's pretty strong, actually. 7 points is a lot. But as I scroll up, what do we see? Her Neptune also influences his Venus powerfully. So not only does he have passion for her, he has this ideal. Neptune Venus is the Madonna complex. The Madonna meaning not the singer, but the mother of Christ. So it's called the Madonna whore complex, actually. So he thinks she is, the pure saint of the world, but also there's a strong sexual element to it. So it's, again, this is getting wild. But guess what? As they say in commercials, that's not all, folks. What else do we have? Her Uranus is on his Venus. So she is driving this guy crazy. Now, I'm sure he's driving her crazy too, because this energy bounces back. It can't just all be absorbed by one person. It reverberates between the two. But do you see this? Uranus to Venus, Neptune to Venus, Pluto to Venus. And guess what, folks? That's not all. Let's keep looking. We also have Rahu to Venus. What? So now, even though the total score is only 36, which is some bonding, but again, this is the Google Earth view. You have to go in and tease out these numbers. This is a massive amount of influence on this poor gentleman's Venus. And I say that with love and respect, because he's loving it too. He's enjoying it, right? So there is a lot of kind of karmic connection, especially on the Venus level. Now, coming back to see how are their Venuses, they're actually -5. So what does this mean? There are a number of ways this can play out. You're very powerfully attracted to the sensual aspects of your partner, but for some reason, their sensual taste and your sensual tastes need some adjusting. They're not the same. And so this is where being together for a long time as a couple, you kind of figure out when you want to give and when you want to receive. But right, so having those roles of a giver sometimes and a receiver sometimes can please both. And that's what mature relationships entail. All right, so now let's switch to the ancient methods. And if I'm staying for, lingering on this couple, it's because they're fascinating. And this is actually a real couple who is together. Now, here's the final fascinating thing that just blows me out of the water as an astrologer. First of all, there is strong respect, Stri Dirgha, for the woman. However, not from the ascendant. So his behavior may not show that he's kind of devoted or respectful to her, but inwardly, he certainly is. In fact, he loves her very much and respects her very much, even though he may not always show it, right? Because the moon is the inner world, and it's actually the more important of these kutas. We have a nice high score here. The ascendant is the less important, but also, viable and important to look at, to know. But look at this. Health is fine. Mutual respect is fine. Devotion is good. Yoni, sexual satisfaction, 0 from the moon. Dun, dun, dun. Now, what does this mean? But it's pretty high from the ascendant. So this could mean that there are, now 0. I've been in relationships with a 0 yoni. Doesn't mean you never have sex. It doesn't mean that. It means that for whatever reasons, the deeper sexual satisfaction from the relationship is hampered. Either you have too many expectations, either what you like is not what the other person likes. I don't know. There are a number of ways this can play out. But the long-term, kind of sensual satisfaction is missing, which means then that the couple, because there's enough here to make this a couple, will find ways, kind of like when, brain cells, like when you get shot or something, and then the nerves kind of find other pathways around it to find that satisfaction, to make up for this. And we saw in the modern method, there's so much Venus going on, Neptune, Pluto, Rahu, that there could be some compulsive, some issues there that relate to tremendous desire, tremendous ideals, but perhaps the reality of it is not there, and you'll have to work on it. even though from the ascendant it's fine, meaning physically there shouldn't be an issue, but emotionally there is. Otherwise, the moon score looks fine. How's the Kuja dosha? Not much of a problem. Okay. So, wow, this is an incredible couple. A lot of passion, but also probably some arguments, probably some broken glasses from time to time. And again, I'm doing, I'm doing what I do, and we did a bit of a deep dive. But what I'd like to do is take a look at the periods these folks are running. Bum 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 bum. Yeah. The reason I wanted to look at that is because there was a couple, and I didn't do this couple because they asked for privacy, but they didn't have good compatibility, but they were running the exact same dasha, and that is enough to make them a lifelong couple. Now, for these folks, I didn't check their dashas to see what they're running. So there's always more to investigate. There's always more to look at. But this would be a situation in which I'd say, there's a song, I think, by Bonnie Raitt, "You Drive Me Crazy," something like that. But in a good kind of way, right? So this is, to me, that kind of relationship. So let's see. I don't know if I'm right or not, but maybe you can let me know. Shoot me an email and say, nope, you're way off on this. This was okay, but this was wrong. And yeah, just let me know. But I think that's good. That's enough for today. I will try to do a few more of these. Hopefully we'll get my camera running and all that. And any questions in the chat here while we're live? If yeah, okay. I will I'd love to get I will get to all of the charts you guys have sent. Like I said, it's probably about 20 charts that I received, so I'm trying to work through them all. And I'll do another podcast and we'll do them. All right. If there are no questions, any questions in the chat? No. All right. If there are no questions, we'll call it a day. I know this is kind of a weird one, but hopefully that last compatibility was illustrative of how important it is to go into details. And yeah, this couple has been together apparently for over 20 years. And I would say they've been over 20 eventful years, because there's a lot of passion and excitement in this relationship. And it's one in which this couple gets to write their script, because in the end, I've seen people be happier with scores like this than with scores like, 60, a gajillion deal makers. When things are too perfect, they can become a little stale, ironically. You want a little passion, you want some gusto and some imperfections that give people something to work on, right? You want to have a project. Some people don't want the perfect house. They want the project house that they can make into their own. And I feel like this is this kind of relationship. Like, yeah, you're close enough to my perfect partner that, with the little work, I'll make you my perfect partner. That kind of thing. And those are cool, because you wake up and there's work to do. It's not, you're not waking up into boredom and perfection. So, all right, guys, hope this was useful. All the best. We'll see you in the next one. Let's see. Hariom.
It said it's very accurate.
Oh, okay. So we got a note that this was accurate. All right. Well, shoot me an email. Let me know. I truly had fun with this chart. When there is something living alive, you can feel it. Like the other two charts I did were fine, but they were between people who are not together. And they're almost like a science thing, like a science display. Like there's no life in it. Whereas here, there's so much life and juice. So I could just feel it from the screen. So, so thank you guys. I would love to do more of people who are together and couples who are, working on making their relationship great. So with that, we will see you in the next one. And thank you all. Namaste.